welcome back, everybody, to I'll Hang Up and Listen. Brought to you, of course, by our favorite spot to go watch Sabres game, Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, get over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over here at Two Goalies on Mike. One of my favorite beers they have on tap, as you all know, is the FEI Mango Wheat. Great food menu, too. The chicken sandwich is incredible. So make sure you get over there. Let them know we sent you from Two Goalies on Mike. Shout out to our other sponsor, Extreme Discount Mattress, with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds, featuring the cool gel memory foam, two-sided mattresses, tele-latex, organic mattress, Chena Wells, and Scott Living, all for 1/3 to half the supposed sale prices anywhere. So stop in either 7 locations across Western New York or check out their website, extrememattress.com. That is Extreme with an X. If you're looking for more savings, check out the new Closeout Center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with up to 80% off their already low prices. You can save a fortune on one-of-a-kinds, closeouts, and floor samples. You get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. Remember, if you mention you're a fan of Two Goalies on Mike, you get yourself a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress. So again, make sure you let them know that you are a fan of the podcast. I am joined tonight after the 5th Sabres win in a row, after a god-awful broadcast. I don't know how you felt about it, Steve. I hated every second of it. But a 5th win in a row from the Sabres against Pittsburgh tonight, 5-1. Pretty decisively, and I'm joined again by Steve Bennett from the Sportscasters Podcast. Steve, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, especially on a night where my man Owen Power has scored now in back-to-back games. Last time I was on, I took a lot of heat for defending the guy, but he's picking the offense a little bit up at the right time, and yeah, I'm excited to be here with you tonight. All this team does is win.
I that was actually the title of our last post game too. All this team does is win. All they do is win. Like literally, that's all it is. Did you watch Shoresy at all?
Yeah, funny show.
Like when Shoresy goes, this team will never lose again. I believe it with this team. Like this team might never lose again.
Yeah, when was the last time they were just really decisively beaten? Maybe the Penguins, I guess, before the Olympic break. I guess they were kind of beaten decisively in that game. Not many, though. I mean, the Wild loss was maybe, I think, the loss before that. That was overtime.
Yep.
Not a lot of times where they're not in a game. You know what I mean? And even that Penguins game, they had a lead. They're the better team in the first period. But yeah, like, what's better than this? Who deserves it more than us? No one.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody. And like we had Johnny Lazarus on for like kind of when all the Parayko stuff was going on, and and he made a comment too. He's like, even on nights like when Buffalo just doesn't look like the better team, they find a way to get it done, and they just do. Like for instance, that last win they had against Vegas. I mean, they came out hot in the first period, and then like honestly, Vegas kind of started to take over, but we found a way to get it in the garage. Alex Lyon, played fantastic. UPL had a great game tonight. I thought defensively, Buffalo really locked it down. I think they really limited the high danger scoring chances, kind of almost made it easy for you, an easier night for UPL. Because honestly, I don't really remember like any moment where I was really worried that like Pittsburgh was going to turn it on.
There was one like 3.5, 4 minute stretch sort of later in the second where we're kind of going end to end with them, and we were up 3, and I'm thinking, hey guys, like we don't need to go end to end here. And I bet that was the message in the second intermission from Lindy, is like, all right, let's lock it down a little bit. And I felt like they did in the third period, that they didn't give them much. And yeah, I mean, there's one point well into the game that I looked up, the Penguins only had 10 shots. And that was into the second period. So look, I thought it was a really fantastic road game. Sucks to give up a shorthanded goal, but you get it back there later. A power play goal tonight. Dahlin kept his cool after Malkin. I mean, what the hell was he doing?
Dude, like that, like
vicious.
you are suspended for a game, like
It's
at
gonna
least
be a game for that,
right?
I think. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I posted that out, and normally like when something like that happens in a game, if it's like a hit from behind or something along those lines, like usually you'll get fans from the other fan base kind of chime in like, "Oh, you're nuts, you're soft." I got none of that.
No.
Like none of that. They're like, "Yep,
Yeah.
hit him in the face with a stick." Yep.
Yeah. He lost
Like
his
you can't
cool
defend
there.
that.
He skated right off too. You could tell he knew too. So a bad moment for Malcolm there. But yeah, I thought it was really a fantastic game. And I think it was the way things happened with that trade. And I'm going to say right now, shame on the St. Louis Blues, because I feel like they leaked that to try to put pressure on the player to accept that trade. But there were some people a little bit down today about him not waiving the no trade. And I think if they would have lost tonight, maybe there could have been a day or two of, going into the weekend of sort of people being down a little bit, but they just come out, and Pittsburgh has not been a place where we have exactly soaked up a bunch of points over the last 15 years during this drought. And, they just went there and just handled business. And now they put themselves in a position where if Tampa Bay loses tonight, they're going to go into the weekend tied for first place, albeit with Tampa having some games in hand. But you could see a scenario where they're home on Sunday playing a game to win and be all alone in first place in the division. So setting up for a big weekend for them, and they've earned this.
Yeah, and like you said, the next stretch of games are at home. We've seen how well they've been able to play at home in the like this season, and just how they're starting to feed off the crowds too. These full houses. I think I subscribe to like the post game comments from Brian Koziel, and I was just kind of looking down at my phone, and Darlene made a comment about like the fan base, and I'm interested to see what he said, but like, is it really? I mean, I've talked about it with Connor. Like, I think this team is going to win the division. I really do. Like, and could you imagine? Preferably, because I'm like one of those, fuck it. Like, I've never gone to the airport for the Bills, but like, dude, if they can like either clinch a playoff spot on the road and then come back home, or
that would be the night to do it.
Like the division, like go take over the division. Like, nobody at Thanksgiving imagined that this was a possibility, and I would absolutely be all over that. And breaking news too. The Sabres are reportedly in on Logan Stanley from the Jets, and possibly I think I might have read that Shen could come back in that deal too.
Yeah.
So from Chad D. Domenicis. So like that's something to keep an eye on. I like Logan Stanley a lot. As a third pairing guy. And you and I both know, going back to the 05-06 playoffs, I mean, like, you can never be too deep on the blue line. So, I think Jarmo's doing the right thing too. And the Robert Thomas stuff that makes me still believe he's trying to add offensively as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really trust him to run this deadline. You know what I mean? I think that, like I said, there's probably some people who are disappointed about Clayton Plinko. Whatever his name is, I don't even care. He means nothing to me. I know his name. I'm kidding around. But, like, on to the next guy. He didn't want to come. He earned that right to have that no trade. And if he doesn't want to be a part of this, we'll find someone else who does. You know what I mean? And Jarmo's going to find a guy or two, and maybe they get a forward. Look at people are like, we need this, we need that. We're going to add to the team. But right now, the team doesn't need much, right? The team just needs to keep rolling the way it's rolling, So, hey, do we add some stuff? I bet we do, and I'll be happy for it. But I'm going to trust Jarmo to do that tomorrow, and I think we're going to be very happy. We're going to be very happy. With how things go. It's a big weekend. It's a big weekend between the trade deadline and the 2 home games, including one against Tampa Bay. I think it's as you were saying, this is just building and building. I'm seeing some of the comments, where this one says we're back. Are we going to take a run? All these things. It's like, yes, this is building and building. There's a generation of people who have never walked down Washington Street towards the arena in shorts and a jersey. You know what I mean? They don't know what it's like to be down there when it's 70 degrees and you have, shorts on and your jersey, and there's 20,000 people in the arena and 20,000 people outside of it, and you're waiting 45 minutes for a seat at the bar, or you're getting there at 4:00 so that you can get your table for the game at 7. And it's just going to keep building and building. And there's people that have never lived it. People like my nephew. I have a 10-year-old nephew. He doesn't know about it. He doesn't know what it is. There's a whole generation of kids here. We can tell them what it's going to be like, but they're not ready. And then there's a whole other part of this fan base, There's a whole nother part of this fan base that forgot what it's like. You know what I mean? It's been so long, and I know Buffalo fans have been through this with the Bills, and that wasn't the best playoff game right after they did break the drought. But man, we're to a point right now where we're getting into house money. I mean, I don't know. Who could have believed that we'd be here? I don't know.
Yeah. And if this Logan Stanley, like Luke Shen stuff, you have to wonder if Merca is going back the other way in that deal. You kind of get shades of like Tyler Myers when you're dealing with like Winnipeg when you made that trade. Granted, Merca's never played a game for the Sabres, but like, do you have to trade Merca at this point? You already tried it once. Well, obviously those things got leaked. I mean, if you're redeem Merca, like, what do you? Granted, yeah, he's not even 6 months, 7 months into being, with this organization, but like, do you have to trade him now at this point?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, at prospects get rumored in deals all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they get moved, sometimes they don't. Look at, maybe they move them, maybe they don't. Here's what I'll say. Again, I trust the GM. Maybe a year ago, we might not, let's say we had this team a year ago and we still had Kevin Adams. We might be a little nervous. Like, now he does a good job. He's done a good job with some of his trades out of the season, but one of his deficiencies was operating within the season. So I just really believe in Jarmo at the top, and I really believe in Lindy Ruff. And I think if you bring the pieces in here, whatever they are, to add to this, I just have such a good feeling. Like, I'm not the guy who's going to come on here and be negative about anything. Like,
what's there to be negative about?
One thing I'm down on right now. I don't, like I said, I don't care 1 second about Clayton Pinko. He can stay on The Price is Right for as far as I care. I'm on to the next guy. It's whoever comes in, come on down. You're gonna love it here, and you should see what it's like in May when we got a playoff team.
Oh my God! And
like, this year is gonna be special.
So when I had Lazzy on last night, we were talking about, like, the party in the plazas in the playoffs, like around the league, like how Toronto does. And I was like, dude, you realize that started in Buffalo? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, 05, 06.
Yep.
That started in Buffalo. Thousands and thousands of Sabres fans packed an alumni plaza, watching the game on a screen while the game is going on inside. Like, I promise you, dude. And they might even do something for away games. Who knows? They might open the arena. Who knows if people want to come watch it at the arena? But like that started in Buffalo, and I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 times more. Those walls can shake, man. Those walls can shake, and people have no idea. You have like 2 generations of Sabres fans, who have no clue what a good hockey team looks like. And they're about to find out what this city, like, how loud it can get. Like, Steve, I remember where you couldn't turn a corner and not see somebody wearing a slug or a goat head or, some type of Sabres memorabilia. It was everywhere. And, and even on WGR today, for those who listen, like, you had the DJ Moore trade and all that stuff, but the majority of people that were calling wanted to talk about Parayko not waving, and I'm like, oh, wait, what? Is this like, what was that show called? The Twilight Zone?
Sure.
Is this like the Sabres Twilight Zone? Like, you guys want to talk about this over the Bills trading for a wide receiver? Like, what?
This is what it's like here when the team is good. And there's another thing that started in Buffalo, by the way, And that's not touching the conference championship trophy. That's something that Mike Pekka and the 99 Sabres started. So hopefully we can get back to that tradition this year as well.
Mhm.
And another thing, it's maybe a stretch here for a second. Okay. In 2000, Pearl Jam was playing a show in Denmark, and there was a tragedy at the show because of weather and speakers, and a few people passed away.
Mm.
And because of that, they didn't play alive for a few years because they felt a certain way about playing that in the aftermath of that tragedy. And about 3 years went by, and in 2003, they played alive again. It was the first time you heard it in 3 years. Energy and passion to it that you can't fake, because the time is what created it. And what I'm trying to say here is there's going to be an energy and a passion that's going to go with this playoff run that you'll never get again, because you'll never be out for 15 years again. You know what I mean? And this 15-year gap is going to has created an energy and a passion nobody in this city is ready for. The waitresses are, our owners aren't ready. The people who work at the arena, the people who direct the traffic, nobody's ready for what this is going to be like. It's going to be sick. And if they win a round, they win a second. I mean, it's just going to be, people don't know. People don't know, you know?
They don't. And
yeah.
Speaking of that, like, I went to an Our Lady Peace concert last summer. And what was the song that was associated with Chris Benoit?
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. They announced that this is the first tour we've ever played
Right.
this song, and they like did they talked a lot about it. It's like, we feel like the time has passed. I think they even like, I don't know if maybe they reached out to, his family, his reigning family, and said like, we'd like to play a song again. Maybe they had their blessing, but like, it's not same thing, but like, yeah, dude, like, I don't know. Time heals all wounds.
Yeah, time creates certain things
Yeah.
that you can't replicate. I didn't play hockey for 7 years, and when I scored and this is men's league roller hockey, right? I got a rush that I'll probably never. That 7 years.
Your Wi-Fi is breaking up a little bit, but I'm not sure if
Mine
it's
is?
on your. Yeah, a little bit. You're coming in a little. And that's a good story that I want to hear, and I missed part of it. Yeah, you're frozen right now. So while Steve
I'm good. I'm good. Here, I should be back. My back?
Yep, there you are. There you are. So start from the top there.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that time creates certain gaps in life that you can't replicate any other way. And, I was out of hockey, hadn't played for 7 years, and it was because of my health. And during that 7 years, it created this vacuum. And then when I scored my first goal back, a seemingly meaningless goal, it created a rush that can only be created by that time. And I just think that this gap in the playoff games has created something that's going to be incredible this fall for sure. Or spring.
Yeah, I like, for me, man, like, it's obviously not as long as you, but hopefully if and when I can get back on the ice after what I went through, like, I can't wait for like the chills to go down my spine, even just for men's league. Like,
yeah,
it might be 2 full years. Who knows? I don't know personally, but I can't wait to, have that feeling myself, even if it's just a year compared to what you went through. Remember the coins at Tops?
Yeah.
I have mine.
All those kinds of things. The newspaper was involved in that somehow, right? Like,
yep.
We're gonna get
remember the pom-poms? The pom-poms, the games? Oh, dude, bring back the pom-poms.
The now do you believe signs. I mean, that's the one thing we're really gonna miss in this run is RJ and his calls. We'll miss that. Something I wanted to talk about with you, Duane. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Speaking of RJ, right? Like, we would all agree that Rick Jeanneret is like a top 5 Sabres figure. You know what I mean? Like, his presence, he wasn't a player, but he's a part of the organization. If you rank anyone who ever had anything to do with the organization, he's probably in the top 5, right?
Yeah.
I think Lindy Ruff might be there as well.
I think so too.
Lindy Ruff is a former captain. He's one of 2 people who's won the conference as coach. He won a President's Trophy here, and now he's going to come back and end a 14 year playoff drought. I mean, and probably win the Jack Adams. I mean, this is a guy. I don't know if putting him, you might have to name the rafters after him. I don't know if putting him in the rafters is enough, but there was some people who were down on that hire, and it might have taken, 100 games for it to click with this group, 80 last year, 20 this year. But I'm just so in on Lindy Ruff and the job he's done and how important I think he's been to the franchise since its birth in 1970 as a player and a coach,
And I've talked about it like for a long time. Like Alumni Plaza is looking pretty bare when it comes to the statues. Like, I've been to LA and I've seen how they've like honored their alumni when it comes to hockey, basketball, all of them. I think it's Oscar De La Hoya has a statue. Kareem has a statue. Shaq, Kobe,
Magic, probably,
Gretzky, Kyle, Jonathan Quick, Dustin Brown. Like the next 3 statues, Hasek, RJ, Lindy. I think it's that easy.
Yeah, I'm so
if not
in
all
on
at the same time.
I'm so in on Lindy now, and he's like a Buffalo. He's not born here, obviously. He's from Alberta, but he's become a Buffalo guy. Like he's lived here pretty much straight through. Has his house in Clarence or whatever. His kids were raised here. I don't know. There's a lot of heat on this Stanley and Shen stuff. Like I said, I'm going to let the GM figure all that out, and I'm going to be behind whatever moves he makes. I'm kind of looking forward to see how it shakes out tomorrow. What time is the deadline, Duane? Is it 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock.
Like yeah.
3 o'clock. I'm sorry. I'm also refreshing Twitter just to see if
anything happens.
Keeping anything up. If anything is official. Apparently, somebody in the chat just said the hockey news is saying that it's going to happen. Both Luke Shen and Logan Stanley, which if that were to happen, Steve, where do both those guys fit in this lineup? I mean, is Luke Shen your 7th defenseman?
Yeah, I would think he would be depth, right?
Yeah, I would have to think, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to get too crazy because are they accumulating assets for something else as well?
Very much could be, you know, I mean? And maybe they're keeping
one of those, maybe you kind of got to see what the trade is. Someone asked what about the drawings in the comments. I have a 9-year-old daughter. She made the drawings.
Love it.
That's not my work, although it probably wouldn't be much better. But thank you for asking, whoever that was in the comments. Yeah, I think, I'm not going to get too crazy about the first move just because 2 defensemen there. It feels like maybe they might be accumulating assets for something bigger. Who knows? I think that there is some truth to Jarmo wanting to put his stamp on this team. You know what I mean? I think he's going to want to do something that when it's all said and done, we can say, that was Jarmo's contribution. But man, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for all the Sabres fans. I mean, it seems like the last 2 times we've done this, it's been after great wins. It was Montreal last time, Pittsburgh this time, and it's a big weekend. I mean, when was the last time at the deadline we're buzzing like this? And it's not just the deadline, it's also the games we have. One thing I'm worried about though is you can't play the Tampa game till you play the Nashville game. You know what I mean? They have to show up and play Nashville. You get nervous that they're going to look ahead a little bit. Buffalo legend Pete Weber will be in the booth for Nashville, a super great man who has the other call of the Derek Plant 7th game goal. If you've ever heard that, he did a
favorite
great job.
RJ call of all time.
Yep, and Pete did a great job on radio for that one as well. But don't overlook that game. Don't get yourselves in a position where you did all this work to have a potential first place game in the arena and you blow it because you lose to Nashville.
Yeah, again, and another guy too on Nashville. I know there's a couple guys on Nashville that could be on their way out. You have Ryan O'Reilly, Steven Stamkos, Philip Forsberg. I thought his name was floating around. I don't know if they would actually trade him, but I mean, I don't know if you're Nashville, how you don't want to blow that roster up. Just blow it up, at this point.
Yeah. And you're flying out here anyway, maybe but look I think they're going to take all the calls. They're going to put the work in. Nobody's going home tonight. If they are, it's for a very short period of time. And I just trust this group, and I'm looking forward to see how it shakes out. And by the way, if nothing happened, somehow no trade was made, I'm good with the guys we got too. I want to add, don't get me wrong, I want to add, because there's always the other teams around us are going to probably add too. So you always want to try to keep up with that. But I go to battle with this team any night of the week. Just the way they play. I had Greg Wyshynski, the former Puck Daddy, on a few weeks ago, and he was talking about, if there's the one thing you'd worry about, it's their shooting percentage, or, there's this analytic people don't like. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that's very repeatable is the way that they forecheck and how hard they play, and they create chances for themselves. They get the teams in the third period. The defensemen are looking over their shoulders. They don't want to go back behind the goal line. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're just so relentless. And we've even kind of weathered a little bit of a down 10 games or so from Duane. I think he'll pick it back up. Benson is still getting his legs after the injury. And we haven't even talked about the goaltending. I mean, Alex Lyon has already set the team record for consecutive road wins. And now there's another record that he's on the consecutive games won. I think he set, right? Is that what it was? 10 or 11 starts in a row. And now he can set the NHL record for road wins with 2 more road wins in a row.
So at JFresh Hockey, 35 minutes ago, interesting. I'm hearing that Logan Stanley will not waive no trade clause to allow a trade to Buffalo because he doesn't have one. So somebody in the chat said, there are people complaining I'm not interacting enough with the chat. It's not enough that I bring your guys' comments all up so, we can pump your tires. But then you got to lie to me in the chat, because the first tweet was interesting. I'm hearing that Logan Stanley will not waive no trade clause to allow a trade to Buffalo. And then he followed up on the next tweet because he doesn't have one. Sorry if that was confusing. I
see what he did there.
Yeah, I see it.
Well, let's cycle through some comments. I love interacting with the comments.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have to get to this one because he's asked about 50 fucking times in the chat now. I don't know if I'm going on for Saturday yet. So that is my answer. I'm still trying to decide. Listen, and I'll tell you right now, we have over 300 comments in the chat. We've been live for 28 minutes. So
nice.
And this is why I love doing this show.
It's building, man. It's building. Man. 500 comments next time.
Duane doesn't even listen. No, I'm not scrolling through my phone. I'm keeping up on what's going on, and I'm listening. I can multitask, people. So stop. I want to be able to break a trade live on the air with Steve Bennett. That's what I care about.
I'm all right. I'm all right with it.
Yeah, right. I do want to give a quick shout out to 2 friends of the program, Kyle and Steve. I saw them while I was over at Wegmans on Dick Road today. We chatted for 30 minutes about the Sabres. So, Kyle, originally from Milwaukee, and Steve, shout out to you guys. Thanks for the great Sabres conversation earlier. And Kyle, who didn't know about the podcast, he might be tuning in tonight. So if he does, I hope you enjoy it. Hope you stick around. Moving on, you're talking about goaltending earlier. We've asked this question a couple times in the pod. I'll ask you, who is your starting goaltender night 1 or game 1?
Alex Lyon.
Right? It has to be. To be.
Alex Lyon is number 1 in. Now, I forget if it's save percentage or goals against, but since December 9th, he's number 1 in the league in one or the other. I always forget which one it is. So I don't want to say the same run, but he's been the number 1 goalie all year. So I would roll with Alex Lyon, but I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if they won game 1 and played Pekka Luukkonen in game 2. I will not really
think they would do that.
I will not be surprised if what's working so well for them right now doesn't change. I don't know that they're going to be in a rush to change it. So we'll see what Lindy does, but
I don't know if I could see that.
It wouldn't shock me. I think he'd play, barring a loss, he'd play Lyon in game 2. But, if they win game 1, he's probably coming back with Lyon. But, it's a long run, and this is working for them. That's another thing I want to give credit to Lindy about, is he's really managed the goaltenders pretty masterfully. I mean, Yeah, first in goals against and third in save. Okay, thank you for that clarification. I knew it was one of the two was first. So
Yeah, I'm and like I like to say, I don't know if Lion is the type of guy that cares. I will say this, through
what does he
your
mean by that? Doesn't care about
no,
like
doesn't he just wants
if he
the team to win. Yeah,
okay,
he just
fair enough. Yeah,
he wants
I
the
think
best
you're
for the
right
team.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a fantastic teammate. I will say this, obviously, through your brother Greg, who's probably gonna give me shit that he wasn't invited on tonight. But he was able to help, set that up with Alex earlier this year on the show, and he gave us one of the greatest interviews we've ever done. If you have a chance, if you haven't listened to it or watched it, please go back and do so. But I will say this, in texting with him off and on here and there throughout the season, I say after it's a great game, I'll text him, hey, dude, hell of a game last night. Keep the pedal. I have never met, through this podcast, I've been able to meet current and former NHL players, you know what I mean? Getting to know a couple of them. And I'll say this right now about Alex Lyon. I've never met a more positive and just energetic and just like I was looking at the messages the other day, and like just he made a comment that about I can't let what happened here, what happened in Detroit happen here. It's I gotta stay locked in, gotta stay focused, eye on the prize, playoffs. Like he's mentioned playoffs a couple times to me, and I'm like, yo, like this guy from even when the team wasn't looking that great in the standings, his mind was on playoffs. We are getting this done. We are making the playoffs. And I'm like, yo, like that is the type of guy I want, mentoring an Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, or in my opinion, who I think is the future goalie of this franchise, Devin Levi down in Rochester, because I see a lot of similarities between those two. And you couldn't ask for a guy who can bring more stability to a position that hasn't had any since Ryan Miller left. And he has been fantastic for them there. And that's why I said, not just because of the way he's played, that being A, but B, experience, and C, just leadership.
Yeah, I've obviously been watching Alex since he was a freshman in college. He played college hockey with my brother. In case people don't know that, he's one of my brother's best friends. I don't know him that well. A lot of my brother's teammates I do know well. Alex, I only met a couple times, so I don't know him that well. But my brother is really great friends with him and works with him in the summer. And one thing my brother always tells me is that nobody works harder than him, that he's a really hard worker, that he's really dedicated, that he's really he's from like northern Minnesota. Like he's from Siberia practically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really, really hard worker. And he had a 90 save game in an AHL playoff game, by the way.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, he's a guy who's been through it, been through a playoff run in the AHL, been through some NCAA tournament runs at Yale. He's played in big games. And I'm excited he's getting his chance. It was unfortunate when he was with Florida a few years ago and basically got them to the playoffs with 6 wins in a row. The problem was they were always going to turn it back to Bobrovsky. You know what I mean? So they let him play a playoff game. They didn't win it, and boom, right back to Bobrovsky. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for him to get his chance. I think he's a signing of the offseason, by the way. They got him for
without question.
They got him for
nobody
nothing.
That's been more impactful, like free agent
entire
than him.
Nobody had a better signing than that.
No, he's been incredible.
Credit to Kevin Adams again. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of decisions that Kevin made. And look, Kesserling is one that he's had a year from hell. So, I understand that people are not thrilled with him, but maybe next year is a time where, he excels here, but maybe he doesn't make it through the day. I don't know what's going to go on with Kesserling. He's had, a year for hell. And I guess them getting Duane in that trade has made walking away from
the Sabres and the Rangers just made a trade. This is per Elliot Friedman. Hearing the Rangers will trade Sam Carrick to Buffalo. Every team can use some stuff fill. So Sam Carrick reportedly on his way to the Buffalo Sabres per the NHL's version of Elliot Friedman
Schefter.
Or sorry, Adam Schefter, Elliot Friedman. Sam Carrick, he's 34 years old. I'm looking up his numbers right now. He's a center, probably like a fourth line guy. I mean, it's
another depth move. These aren't home runs, but if you're going to make a deep playoff run, you need guys like this. Guys that can eat up minutes on the fourth line as the season's wearing out. He's I think he played for Brampton. Is that right?
I'm looking it up right now.
At Brampton back in the day. I think he's a Toronto pick way back when.
Let me pull up his hockey. This
is a depth guy. This isn't. Nobody's going to be running to the Sabres store for a Sam Carrick jersey tomorrow, but
no. But I mean,
look
over 50 minutes and penalties this year. He was a 2010 5th-round pick by the Leafs. Not seeing where he played junior hockey. Just give me 1 sec. Yep, he played for Brampton. He did the battalion.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was Brampton. Yeah, look, he's again an older player, so experienced. If I had to guess, maybe 400 NHL games, something like that, give or take.
Yep.
This isn't Robert Thomas, obviously, but you get it. There's going to be a bunch of sometimes we make the mistake of judging things in its totality with the first move. Let's see when the dust settles tomorrow. But yeah, this is a good start. This is great. We're making moves.
Yeah, I mean, he might also end up in Rochester. We don't know. Like I can tell you right now, I'm just gonna predict that Rochester's probably gonna lose a couple bodies.
Sure.
Here.
Right. So you got to build your path. Yeah.
And I was floating on the idea in one of my text message chats, like, why not bring back Jeff Skinner on a 2-way deal and send him to Rochester if he'll go? I'd imagine he'd go. If he can't play in the NHL, like, why not have the opportunity to be called up for the Sabres, but also help a team desperately in need of scoring right now in Rochester? Like, I'd be all for that.
Sure.
If you're willing to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it going to cost you?
Look, this is the dream that you have for your team, is that you're the night before the trade deadline and you're buying guys. You know what I mean? You're bringing guys in and you see what happens.
No, he's not on a team right now, and I think he needs to be signed by a certain date. It may even be tomorrow's deadline to be eligible for playoffs. Yeah. So, like, again, I wouldn't be minded if Jarmo did something like that, and just for the sake of having a proven guy down in Rochester to help lead that team in a playoff run, and a guy who is familiar with the players on this team who in a pinch can be called up and fill in a bottom six role. Like, I would not mind it at all.
Yeah. I mean, we're buying, we're moving and shaking, we're adding things we can trade later. Like you said, maybe guys that can end up in Rochester, maybe you flip a guy. It's all part of a bigger package that we finish the day with tomorrow and see what we bring to battle with us over the weekend.
Absolutely. No doubt. So. What was I gonna say? And I'm still not seeing anything updated on the Logan Stanley. I don't know if you are right now.
No, they're playing too right now, so maybe.
I mean, I imagine is Stanley. I don't know if can somebody in the chat can somebody confirm if Logan Stanley and Shen are playing tonight in that game? In that game,
are they in the game? That's a good question.
That's a good game, because if they are, I imagine if this is actually happening, they would get pulled out, right?
Like, no, it doesn't look like either of them are playing.
So they're probably being sat out for, obviously trade or asset protection reasons.
Right.
Sam Carrick, I guess, has a 54% faceoff percentage. So,
okay,
I mean, that's something the team needs too. Not that I imagine with less than 2 minutes left in a game where you need to score in an offensive zone draw, you're gonna have Sam Carrick out there taking a faceoff. But
maybe if he's someone that they dress sometimes. Maybe you put him out there for the first face-off in OT real quick, see if he can sneak a draw, and then bring him off. Like, again, I'm not going to get too off my skis about this Sam Carrick. As long as it's what was the one year where they only added what was it? Rafi Torres. Who was the guy they added? And he's the only one they added. Kind of like a fighter kind of guy.
Bob Corkum.
Corkum he's the only
Bob
addition,
Corkum.
right? Yeah.
It was the most random, right. And he was like,
I don't think this is going to be a year where Carrick is going to be our Corkum. I think there's going to be some other people moved as well. It felt really good to beat Pittsburgh for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if
we have mentioned that they are tied for first in the Atlantic, yes, but they
6 minutes away from that the night ending like that. There's 6 minutes left in that game. 3-1
yes,
still.
as long as Tampa loses, which they currently are right now, we could be looking at the Sabres tied. Would that make them tied, or would that put them at just tied, right?
Tied.
Yeah, tied for first place in the Atlantic. I do know Tampa has games in hand, but with the way they've been playing lately, man, again, I've said it so many times and I'll keep saying it. There is no reason to think that this team can't win the division.
Yeah, Tampa will have 2 games in hand, but also we got a 4-point game with them on Sunday at home, and then another 4-point game with them, later down the road at home too. So plenty of opportunities to make them up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to throw it back to our sponsors again. Shout out again to Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different locations. If you're off of work tomorrow, looking for somewhere to watch all the deadline deals go down, depending, I have to imagine it's going to be a pretty busy one, considering we haven't seen a lot of action yet. Go to your local Fatty Beer, have a cold one. Let them know we sent you. Also, Extreme Discount Mattress with 7 Western New York locations. You can find them online at extrememattress.com. There's Extreme with an X. They also have a new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with up to 80% off their already low prices on one-of-a-kinds closeouts and floor models. Remember, if you mention that you're a fan of Two Goalies, One Mike, you can get yourself a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And again, remember, mention you're a fan of Two Goalies, One Mike. I don't know, man. What is your ask? Say this Logan Stanley and Luke Shen thing does in fact happen. Maybe they keep them both. Maybe one's flipped. What is your ask beyond that, Steve?
Yeah, you know what? I think that I want to add to the team. I want to add some depth, professional defensemen that can eat up some minutes for us, that also can sit in the press box if they need to, because I've lived through 2005 and 2006, so I'm never going to be against adding a defenseman, right? Anything we can do to keep Rory Fitzpatrick out of Game 7, I am all for that, right?
You remember vote for Rory?
Yeah, vote for Rory.
Vote for Rory.
Happened too, right? Look add some depth. Here's the one thing I don't want to do though. And look I'm all for a guy like Robert Thomas. If you can get him, sure. Okay, maybe. But I just think they have something special here. I don't think you want to force anything. I don't want to give up a lot of what is the NHL team now. I'll sell prospects. I'll sell draft picks. I'll sell them by the boatload. You want prospects? You want Helenius? Any of those guys? You can make a case for the right package to send any of those guys wherever you want to send them. But I want what the core of this team, the 4 defensemen, the 6 forward. Maybe you can upgrade that spot in the top 9 where Quinn plays. I like Quinn. He's a shooter. He's got one of the best shots I've ever seen. Maybe you can find someone that pushes him at least and plays there a little bit. I wouldn't hate that. But I love our team, and I'm not moving any of these names that I heard in the hysteria of the 7 hours with Rob Thomas. Like, we're going to send him Owen Power.
Oh, my God, man.
This guy and that guy's like, no, I don't want any of that. Add some depth. If you can get a top 9 forward, maybe someone to fit in that Quinn role if you have to, I'm probably fine with that. But add pros. Add pros depth. Yeah, Carrick maybe can be better than Kozak. Fine, yeah. Add some depth. Add some pros. people that can be on the ice in practice, push our team, and be there if someone's injured. Can you upgrade the because I don't think Mesta, by the way, is like coming out of the lineup anytime soon.
No, I think Lindy, and he was kind of flipping him around in the lineup a little bit a game or two ago. And some people speculated that might be because he's trying to test the waters to see if he had to slip him into a bigger role, how would he perform?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like I believe so much in Lindy that I think wherever he puts him, I'll trust him there. And so I think we have 5D that I really want playing night one of the playoffs. I want the big four and Mesta out there. And then that sixth spot is where maybe you can tickle me a little bit. Whether it's one of these guys from Winnipeg or someone else, because I just think Kesseling's just had a year from. I don't want to count on him. You know what I mean? I think we haven't seen his best, but we're to a point in the season, the ambitions we have. I don't want to be counting on Michael Kesseling right now.
Yeah, we do have a question in the chat from Jacob Bryson for you specifically.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Sabres memory, Steve?
Well, Mayday, I was there. So the story is I made my first communion the Sunday before the game, and I bought two things. I bought a 13-inch color TV. It was $324. Could you imagine the TV you could get for $324 right now? I got a 13-inch color TV, and I said to my mom, can I use some of my money to buy a ticket to one of the Sabres playoff games? So I think at that point, they'd only played the first two games in Boston. And my mom's like, yeah, and I was like, I'll take my dad. Me and my dad can go to the game. I'll buy the tickets. So unfortunately, all they had left was standing room only. And also, unfortunately, I wasn't tall enough. So we got the standing room only tickets and we got to where they were. And I'm like this, trying to see the game, right? So I spent most of the night sitting on the top step of the Oranges in the odd next to some lady. And I had a bag of M&Ms in my hand when Brad May scored, and I threw them all over the upper deck of the odd. So that is my favorite Sabres moment. And then, by the way, I think you might be muted, Duane. I can't hear you. Are you muted?
The laptop was dying, so I had to unplug the external mic and plug the laptop in.
The last part of that story about Mayday is me and my dad are walking to the car. And we looked at each other and we're like, I cannot wait to hear what Rick Jeanneret did with that call.
Wow.
And we're like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear it. And we're driving home. We're listening to the post game and they keep talking about it. They're like, we're going to play it. We're going to play it. We're pulling into the driveway. My dad just dropped me off. My parents were divorced at the time. He's dropped me off in the driveway. And they're like, here we go. And I remember sitting there with my dad in the driveway and hearing the Mayday call for the first time because we were in the building when it happened. But that's my favorite. I've also been very blessed. I was at Game 7 for Plant. I was at the 2 Briere overtime winners in 06-07.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I was at the 7.7 seconds game. So I've been to a lot of good ones over the years, but nothing will beat Mayday just because at that point, the Sabres had only been past the first round of the playoffs one other time in my life, and I was 2. So it was really the first time I ever seen them win a playoff round. And again, thanks to my communion money. So I'd like to thank Jesus for that.
Thank you.
And also my 13-inch TV, $325. Imagine what you could buy for 3. I had a question for the people on here listening. Okay. Last time I was on, I made fun of Greg, who is the manager of the Lancaster Fatties. And I said that anyone who went to Greg at Fatties, that I would buy their first 2 beers. And I never heard if this happened. So I don't know if it did. Greg never sent me a bill, and believe me, he would have. So it must not have happened. So I'm going to offer it again. The first 2 people, we'll do 2. The first 2 people to go to Greg at Fatties in Lancaster and say, I heard your brother Steve on 2 goalies, 1 mic. I'll buy your first beer at Fatties.
You have to clip this.
2
Off the clip,
people.
just send it out.
Yeah, send it out. First people go up to Greg. Not any of the other people because I don't know them. I don't want to put them on the spot. But go to Greg. First beer for 2 people in here. Let's do 3 because I'm all fired up about the Sabres. I'll buy 3 beers for
3 beers.
People listen.
1 beer for the first 3 people?
For the first people that go to Greg.
Okay.
And it's up to Greg to track
Locked it in. We got it locked in. I would say one of my favorite Sabres memories, and I was pretty young at the time, was 99 finals. My dad had, I can't remember. I have to ask him. I have a fantastic picture of it here somewhere too. But I remember watching Jeff Sanderson.
The fake out?
Yeah, score with one-hander on Eddie Belfour.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. It was a Jamie Langenbrunner maybe that he beat the defenseman.
He faked the slap shot. And
and
went
around. It was sick. And the fucking roof off that place blew off. And
if we have time for one more story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Game 1 of the 1999 finals was a road game, obviously. And me and my buddy Mike were trying to decide what we're going to do for this game. He worked at Tim Hortons at the time, and there was this girl in the Tim Hortons that he was trying to get with. But she had a boyfriend. So he was up against it. You know, I was 18, going on 19 at the time, and he was about the same. So we're young. And he's like, oh, dude, this girl, she's having a party at her house for the game, and the boyfriend's got to work, so we're going to go to that. And I'm kind of like, all right. So we go there, and we walk in, and the boyfriend must have got a sniff of this. And not even 30 seconds into us being here comes the boyfriend walking in with his work outfit on. I forget where he works. He's got the goofy outfit and the name tag, and he's walking in, so my buddy's like, let's split. What do you want to do instead? I'm like, well, they're playing it at the arena. So we go down to the arena. It was like maybe like $3-5 donation to a charity, and you got to walk in. So we get there like maybe 5 minutes into the first period. We watch the first period, and we're like, man, we need to find a better section. Like where we are is kind of beat. So we're standing at the railing of the 200s, looking down on the 100s, trying to find where we think might be a good place. We're like, oh, yeah, there's a good place. There's 3 chicks down there. They're not with any guys. Let's go sit behind them, watch the game, whatever. So we go down there, and there's 3 girls, and this is game 1, 1999, and the one of the 3 girls, I married her. She's in the other room. So
that's awesome.
That's how we met.
That's awesome.
I got the great thing of, it's like, oh shit, when did we meet? Hold on, let me Google when game 1 of the finals was. She could never catch me on that. I just go to like 1999 finals on Wikipedia. What was the date? Oh, we met on June 8th, 1999, or whatever the date was. But
and like Jacob said, best story of the night right there. Tampa Bay has officially lost. So the Sabres
let's do
Tampa
it.
Bay,
first place Sabres.
I got to tweet out this update here. But the Buffalo Sabres and the Tampa Bay Lightning are tied for first in the Atlantic Division. For at least, I'm not sure when the next 2 teams play, but for at least the next 24 hours, the Buffalo Sabres is in first place in the Atlantic Division.
Damn.
Insane.
Wow. It's drought ending season.
I mean, it would take an epic collapse for them to not break this.
Oh, I didn't say that. Yeah,
don't you say that. What's that from? Don't you say that.
Okay. I have 4 teams I truly care about, right? The Saints, who are sort of on a post-Breeze playoff drought, but don't worry, Tyler Shuck has arrived and we'll end that playoff drought in January. I have the Sabres. We're going to end this drought here. The Braves, who I've been a fan of since 1989, thanks to TBS. Not much drought to speak of there, although we haven't made the playoff. We didn't make the playoffs last year, but whatever. The 4th team is my beloved Azzurri, the Italian national soccer team, who has missed 2 straight World Cups, and in 20 days will play a playoff to hopefully not miss a third. So Sabres and Azzurri drought-ending season. I need it. So anyone out there, if they want to say a prayer for my beloved Azzurri, we've got some big game. We got a big game on November 26th or March 26th. And if we win, we play 3 days later. So it's drought ending season. We're ending all these droughts.
I'm I guess David Perron was sent to the Detroit Red Wings. I don't know if that's old news or new news, but I'm just like, I'm going through the timeline trying to keep up with things. I should honestly just click on Elliot Friedman's like page and
Kesterling blows 8. You take that back. It's a positive vibes night. I don't need that kind of negativity.
From Elliot Friedman, New Jersey made all defensemen available besides Luke Hughes and Brett Pesce. Simone Nemec switched agents, always a bad sign for an incumbent. There's one reason he's out there. So, I mean, looks like New Jersey's trying to do business. Let me see here. New Sabres forward, Sam Carrick. I don't know what these analytics mean necessarily, but yeah, guys, he looks like he's an impactful player. That's all I can kind of tell from this. But let me just pull up Elliot Friedman's page and maybe we can get some updates. Let's see here. Last thing he tweeted out was Sam Carrick to Buffalo. David Perron goes to Detroit from Ottawa, and Ottawa got a 4th-round pick. Man, he hasn't really tweeted much at all as of late. It's kind of surprising, which kind of gives me pause on the Logan Stanley stuff.
Well,
just
didn't
because
Chad say it might be a tomorrow thing anyway? Didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, if he's hearing about it, you think
one of these
somebody else might be on it too,
right?
But I mean, maybe he has a source that only talks to him. I don't know, but I don't. Let's hope. And yeah, he has not been that active on Twitter.
Working those phones.
I hope so.
What's your brother's name? My brother's name is Greg. So,
manager of the Fatty Beer in Lancaster, where I will be tomorrow.
Although I might have to tell him Kesterling blows 8, that if there's any more Tyler Shucks slander, that the deal's not going to go to you.
Unfortunately, we don't know his real identity.
You better take that back. I'll tell him you look out for Kesterling blows 8.
Yeah. Carrick and Malenstein are going to be fun to watch next to each other. And they both play heavy games, man. You know, that would be an interesting 4th line. Makes you think back to the Greer 4th line. Who was on that 4th line with him? It was oh man, I can't remember, but like just very reminiscent of that. A hard hitting line that you can match up against, tougher competition. I'm all for that for sure. Before we get out of here, Steve, you have any final thoughts? Because obviously I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, I mean, my final thoughts are like I said earlier, nobody deserves this more than us. And I hope everyone's just out there enjoying it. Enjoy these next 3 days. Like, we're buyers, right? We're adding to a team that is building something really special. And we're going to have a game most likely on Sunday in our arena. And that doesn't mean to overlook the game Saturday. That Saturday game has me a little nervous. Mm-hmm. But we're going to have a game Saturday where it's a 4-point game for the top of the division. And man, I mean, I'm just super happy. I'm just so excited about this team. And I can't wait to watch them I watched all the games during the drought, but like, do you remember those times you'd be like, oh man, they play at 7 tonight? Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I don't really want to watch it, and I have 2 TVs in my living room, and too many times they were like on the other TV with like no volume and, different story. I kind of want to turn the volume down tonight, but that happens sometimes with these national games. But man, what a time to be a Buffalonian. I'm sure Bills fans are happy. Like you said, they added a receiver today, so good for them. But yeah, what a great time. I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad so many people were kind to me in the comments, with the exception of Kesterling blows 8, who's on my S list. Told me not to be petty. All right, Kesterling, we'll make good.
From David Pagnotta a minute ago, Saberhood have multiple irons in the fire tonight. I believe Elliot Friedman already reported Sam Carrick. Told that's in the works. They're also in talks with the Winnipeg Jets for Luke Shen, and likely not done there. Gonna be busy in Buffalo. Oh my God, I love to hear that. Love to hear that.
people are gonna be refreshing their phones tomorrow at work. Like, you bring a charger, if you have an external charger. Oh no, are you Kesserling? Okay, well, I think when I'm done with this, I'm going to have some Rice Krispies. So just wait there. We'll have a bowl of cereal together. We'll shake this out.
All right.
Yeah, it's fine. Actually, my family is going to Disney tomorrow, and I'm not because I hate heat and walking and lines and all that stuff. So maybe I'll have a party for the game over here, and I'll invite everyone on the chat except for Kesserling.
Except for Kesserling?
Yeah, except for him, because first of all, he's broken into the place, and I just can't have that. I can't encourage that kind of behavior.
Yeah. So
but go to Greg. 3 people.
3 people. I'm gonna flip that. I already marked down the timestamp. I'm gonna clip that tonight and post it tomorrow morning. And maybe we get some people to take it. If they go look for somewhere to watch trade deadline news, like I will be. So
yeah, the first 3 people go tell Greg, I'll buy the beer, and then when he sends me the Venmo request, I'll ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll have the beer and you'll be gone by the time that happens. So
yeah. So
yeah.
With that being said, I mean, fantastic performance from the Buffalo Sabres tonight with a 5-1 win over. Actually, do you have like another 2 minutes?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I do want to go over the post-game quotes. Let me see. Because apparently there was some good stuff in there. Let me see if I could Cozio WGR. Let me see if it pops up here. Let me just find, Twitter has been really weird for me lately when it comes to trying to search in certain handles. But Brian Koziel, who always tweets out the post-game quotes after the games. There you go. Okay, Brian Koziel. Buffalo's win gives them 80 points with 20 games left. That surpasses their points total from the entire season last season when they had 79 points in 82 games. Lindy Ruff says the league will definitely look at the slash, but wouldn't say directly if he should be suspended or not. Dahlin said he is okay after the slash from Malkin. Dahlin on a message to other players in the league. Buffalo is a hell of a city. All of the guys in the locker room love it here. Dahlin on passing last season's point total. It's fun to win, that's for sure. Dahlin says the game can get you emotional. Stuff happens. Shit happens. Asked if Malkin should be suspended. He goes, no comment on that. McLeod, we have an amazing group, says he's excited because there are a lot of guys going through this for the first time, and it makes it even better. McLeod says they are a confident group right now, and they are really enjoying it. More from McLeod. Says the PK takes a lot of pride in their work, and they have a lot of fun with it. Norris on the winning. It's really fun. The most fun I've ever had playing hockey. Says it's such a fun group. Says the players are so authentic. Says listening to music on the flight home is fun too. I mean, I'm curious to hear what that playlist is.
Right.
Norris says they gave the Penguins nothing in the third period in terms of offensive chances. Norris says he thought Duane got shoved into the goalie, but you never know these days on what is goaltender interference. Thought it was kind of a toss-up. I honestly thought I couldn't believe that panel, Steve, was so like, except for I think was it Emily Kaplan? Was she on the broadcast?
Yeah, she was in the red there at the
one.
Like
the only one who was like, no, it's not goalie interference. The rest was like, oh, this is definitely goalie interference. Like, what are you guys talking about? His left forearm was shoved into Seeloff's. Like, what are you guys watching that I'm not seeing? And then like I said earlier, normally when you tweet something like that out, people from their fan base will come after you. Nobody did. Nobody. Because they all knew.
Yeah, I think the problem with goalie interference is it surpassed a catch in football for just one of those things that nobody knows what it is. You know,
I do love Green Day and Metallica. Yes.
Yeah.
People are asking you to tell more stories.
Oh, another story? I don't know. I don't know if I have another one. Just on another story about what?
I don't know.
Sabres days.
Sabres days.
When game 7 of the Plant game, I got into the game with a game 5 ticket. So this is before the days of them scanning them, and somehow we ended up with an extra game 5 ticket. So we brought another buddy, but everyone was scared to be the one to walk through with the ticket All right, I got a Tyler Shook story in a second. Everyone was afraid to walk through with the ticket, so I said, I'll do it. And I just walked right up to the guy, handed him the ticket. He ripped the one man off, and I walked right in. And
That's amazing.
We got an extra guy on the game 5 ticket. Tyler Shook.
Man, I'm willing to sleep in a bathroom stall for 24 hours. It means getting to a playoff game for free.
Right? Yeah,
I
think I bought my ticket, but we ended up with an extra one, and we had an extra buddy come in. My favorite Green Day song is Scattered, by the way. It's on what's that album called that everyone says is underrated? Whatever. Scattered. Look it up by Green Day, my favorite one. And I love Kerplunk and 1039. Old Green Day, the best Green Day. Tyler Shook. So the last 4 years, I've pretty much been watching Saints games asleep on my recliner, just sort of so indifferent and bored at how boring and horrible they are and how miserable it was. And we were playing Tampa Bay towards the end of the season a couple months ago here. And it's 3rd down, and we're like 25, 26 yards from the end zone. And we call a pass. Tyler Shook goes back to pass, and the play is blown up. I mean, right away, there's like 3 guys not blocked coming in. And Tyler Shook gets out of it, gets to the sideline, gets to the end zone, catches the pylon. And I stood up out of my chair. Yeah, Nimrod. I stood up out of my chair and said, someone pinch me, I'm dreaming. And everything about the team has been different since then. So that's my Tyler Shook story. I'm all in on how great Tyler Shook is. So,
that's
and
awesome.
I love Scattered. I'm going to listen to it as soon as we're done.
No, man, I might listen to it
Scattered pictures lying on my bedroom
Pretty cool
floor.
if we could play songs like that to send us out here if we would get copyrighted for it. However, our send-off song on the audio is from my buddy's band called Snakeland, and it's called Not Another Adult Contemporary. And the chorus of that song, or the very end, like the end chorus of the song, is very fitting for Buffalo sports, where they say it over and maybe next year one more time.
Nice.
Speaking
of Nice Rock, I'm going to see Sponge tomorrow at this dirt ball club on Niagara Falls Boulevard in Niagara Falls called the Evening Star. Have you ever been there?
I heard of it. Yeah, I might have been there.
Dump. But it was only $25, and I was like, I'll go. My family's away. I'm going to go down to the street and see Sponge. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's cool. They want me to tell a story. I'll tell one quick story.
All right, Duane story time.
My story. So it's not really anything non-game related. So my dad had 200 club level seats, and back then you would get like invited to these to dine with the Sabres, right? And if you paid extra money, you could sit at the same table as a Sabre. I remember we got seated at a table next to Curtis Brown. I spent like half the time talking about Hasek and how great Hasek was. He's probably sitting there like, God, get this kid to shut up. But anyways, there's certain points where like you could get you could get autographs, and Hasek's line was like legitimately like out the door. Like, it was just so long. And I remember sitting there, and like the security's like, hey, not now. Let them eat first, and then you come up for autographs. And I was wearing my Hasek jersey. I had like my Hasek cards in one hand. I think I had a photo in the other, or puckers, whatever. Maybe it was a mini stick. Sorry. It was like goalie mini stick. And I was like, threw my hands down, like, oh, and Hasek sees me, he goes, points at me. And I'm like, no shit. And I go over there, and he goes, signed everything I had right in front of everybody that was just told no autographs. But the best part is on the way out the door, we ended up actually kind of like walking out with him. And I had one more card. I get signed. He goes, no. I signed enough for you. I signed enough for you.
Since you mentioned Hasek and autographs, I'll tell a quick story about someone from his favorite country, Russia. When I was a kid, Alexander Mogilny was doing a signing at the Galleria Mall, and it was packed. I mean, there were people down and then into the food court and down. Like, it was the longest line I've ever seen at the mall, right?
Yeah.
And I got a stick. He would sign one item, right? That was like in the advertising, like any item, he'll sign one. So I'm waiting, and it's like 1 hour goes by, 2 hours go by. I'm getting closer and closer to the front, and I can see him now. I can see him up there signing, And I'm like maybe 12 back, and I see he's he's doing one of these, he's stretching, and he kind of stands up and walks away for a second. I'm like, oh man, there's gonna be more waiting. He must be having to go to the bathroom. And this lady comes up and she's like, Alexander McGillney is gone for the day, but don't worry, Dave Snuggerud is still here.
You went from O'Gilney to Snuggerud.
You just heard the whole crowd was just like, and everyone left. I think Snuggerud might have had 5 autographs. Everyone was so mad. I could see him. I was like 10 more people, and I had waited for like 2 hours. This line at the Galleria Mall, it was like out the mall across the Olive Garden. This line was so long. And right when I was there, and I just remember her saying, Alex is gone for the day, but don't worry, Dave Snuggerud is still here. Who knew he was here at all? What do you mean Dave Snuggerud's still here? What do you want, Dave Snuggerud? Yeah, so that was awful.
Oh, that's like you could either get Ryan Miller's autograph or you can get Danny Paille's autograph. No offense to Danny Paille, had a great NHL career. But last thing I'll say. Remember the Sabres carnivals?
Oh yeah.
Those are great times. I remember went to a Sabres carnival. I want to say this is like Miro Shatan days, right? And we had these like crazy neighbors too. This part of the story, but I went to Sabres carnival. I think there was like a dunk tank, RC car racing, ass player. It was such a cool experience. It really gave. I wish that Sabres would go back to stuff like that and get the players involved that way, where like you shut the arena down for a day, you invite, pretty much keep it open to whoever wanted to come. And, every player was posted in a certain part of the arena. If you want to get an autograph, you go to that part of the arena. It was always very well done. I remember coming back to the Sabres carnival, just all decked out, all sugared out. It was just a great time. And my stepbrother was in like the back of a cop car. Not because he didn't do anything wrong, though. It was a thing.
They're just showing it to him. Like,
I was like, I walked up the car. I was around my Sabres, like, what's going on here? And we had these crazy neighbors who I like legitimately create like crazy. And they called the police on my stepbrother because he walked across their front lawn to meet his girlfriend on the street. And I'll always remember that Sabres carnival because it was the same year that Miro Shatan scored 40 for the Sabres. I remember going to that and being hyped to meet Miro Shatan and Mihashik, and then all of a sudden I get home and it's all chaos because my stepbrother's in the back of a cop car for trespassing, even though he just walked across the lawn. Anyways, story time's over. Steve, thank you so much for giving me your time today. We've been on for live.
Yeah.
Hour.
Thanks to everyone for enjoying the stories, even though I think you're picking on me a little bit in these comments right now, but
yeah,
still love everybody. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys as always. And as always, so if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoyed this live stream, please make sure you smash that like button. I see so many of you that are still watching live right now on YouTube. Make sure you are all hitting the like button right now. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Really appreciate it. Hit the little bell icon so you know when we go live. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, you can find me at DuaneS39. You can find my co-host for tonight, Steve Bennett at the Sportscasters on
at
Twitter.
Sports_casters on Twitter.
Yep. And you can find his podcast just by searching the Sportscasters right on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And an unbelievable show. They just had a big anniversary show where you had, was it Joe Buck on? You had
Bob Costas, Joe Buck, and Jeff Passan.
Yeah, unbelievable lineup. And he always gets some great guests. So make sure you check them out. And as always, guys, go Sabres.
Go Sabres.
Talk to you tomorrow.